It was in the last days of the serpent moon, early in the season of renewal, just as the weather began to turn. Everything seemed ordinary for that time of year. The sky was cold but bright above the city, as it had been for several days, and many birds sang. After I had arisen and offered a prayer to the lost garden, I went to the great palace stables to oversee the care of my master's horses and watch the morning feeding to see who was fit and who was nursing some woe or wound. It seemed like any other day. All around me, Tunukadaya of lesser rank and status than mine, mostly grooms and stable hands, hard at work even after the horses had finished eating, busy currying the beasts' fine coats, walking them out to exercise on the white sand of the great courtyard, and ministering to them in 100 other small ways. The stables of Asua are filled with old, proud bloodlines, and those who tend them are proud too. Yohi, armiger to my master's brother Ineluki, what the mortals of the south would call a squire, was the only Zidaya in the stables when I arrived. Yohi was lean even for her slender race, strong-fingered and practical, wearing her hair always close-braided so it would not interfere with her work. She was singing quietly as she introduced a 9-season foal to the moth bridle. Our eyes met, but she gave me only a curt nod of greeting. I was an armiger, just as Yohi was, but none of the Zidaya squires ever wasted much time being courteous to me, though Yohi would at least acknowledge my presence. She also had an excuse for her less-than-friendly greeting. The first time introducing a young horse to the bridle is a delicate moment. Our mounts do not like having anything on their faces, even a restraint as light as a moth bridle. I have never understood how mortals can put a bit in their horses' mouths. Our Asua steeds would never put up with it. I watched for a moment as Yohi raised and lifted the wings of the moth, with each gentle pull on the reins. The foal shuffled a little, but Yohi had a light touch, and the foal remained calm, lulled by her ancient song. I returned to inspecting my master's horses. As I was removing a stone from pale sea foam's hoof, and wondering whether to have the bronzesmith make her a new shoe, a young Tunukadaya stable hand came running in from the courtyard. It was Nali Yun, his face flushed with excitement. "Master Payman, there are mortal men in the palace," he announced loudly. Yohi turned on him. "Are you witless?" she hissed at him, trying to soothe the startled foal. "Roaring like some animal. Have a care, changeling." I pulled Nali Yun aside. "When are there not mortal men in the palace?" I asked him quietly. "They line up at the gates before dawn every day with things to trade or sell. They lurk around the visitors' court, creaking like crows at everyone who passes by, hoping for an audience with the Seonsera and the Protector, an audience they will never get. We could scarcely take a step out of the inner palace without stumbling over some mortal or other. Why do you shout about such ordinary things?" "You are stiff as a stick, Paimon Kes," he complained. "My news is nothing ordinary. Neither is shouting in the stables." But I disliked chiding another Tunukadaya in front of Yohi. She and the other Zidaya squires already thought little of our kind. "So tell me, why is the arrival of more mortals anything unusual?" "Because it is a whole company of mortal men from the west. They have come seeking an audience, and Lady Amarasu has granted it to them. It will begin when the morning bell rings. You must go swiftly." "Do not make me ask for quiet again," Yohi warned him sternly. I did my best to keep my temper with the young groom. "Why should I rush to see a few mortal men? That is nothing new." "Well, you might still want to hurry," he said with a grin, "because your master, Lord Hakatri, wants you to come to him in Thousand Leaves Hall.